All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the semifinals for Division C West. Tonight, we have number 2 team, Can't Counterpick Stupid, versus number 6 team, the upset team of the week last week, Periloot. Going at it in the semifinals, the winner here will face the team who wins between Rush B and Ginormous Jaegers. If you missed those matches last week, you should go back and check them out. That was... Oh, that's not correct. Why is Plugwalk showing up there? No, that was right. Never mind. I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, so it looks like we're just bouncing people around here in the lobby, but yeah. So, anyways, Rush B, the number 1 seed out of C West, and we've got Ginormous Jaegers there, the number, I think, 4 seed. We can go back and just check that real easy there. So yeah, number 4 seed. So either way, this is going to be, you know, a good matchup tonight. Can't Counterpick Stupid last week played against Dat Tass though, and it was quite a matchup. It was very close. Dat Tass though giving them one hell of a run for their money. So we'll see if they can keep things going tonight against this number 6 team, Periloot. Let's see. Looks like they are ready here. So make sure that the other team's ready. Let me know when you are. Okay, there we go. And so tonight, keep in mind we've had a couple of maps that had some updates. Volskaya Foundry, as well as Infernal Shrines, and we are actually going to go to one of those maps first up here. So the bans, Dragonshire was banned out by Periloot, and Towers of Doom was banned by Can't Counterpick Stupid. And this first map that we're going to is Infernal Shrines. So we're going to see some updates here. So the Frozen Punisher does some lockdown, the Mortar Punisher does more damage, and it looks like we're ready to go. So let's get this going. I'm going to send you to commercial break while we get it started. Alrighty, everybody, and welcome. There we go. I was gonna say, where's the game? To Infernal Shrines. So as I was mentioning, the Punisher, the Frozen Punisher, is now reduced to 5 bursts instead of 6. The radius is a little bit larger, but it also shuts down towers. For 3 seconds. So towers, structures, whatever, right? And then I think they actually increased the root a little bit too. The Mortar Punisher increased the amount of damage it does pretty significantly. The mortars before, like, baseline were, I think, 19, and it boosted them up to 70. So the Mortar Punisher can put out a pretty significant amount of damage right out of the gate now. So anyways, back on this draft, we see the Anubarak, Hanzo, and Kael'thas. So right now, you know, the Anubarak just being a heavy tank meta ban, one of the top 2 tanks in general for most bans. And then you've got Hanzo and Kael'thas being, you know, pretty good for shrine clearing. Hanzo with that level 4 talent causing the explosive arrows, and then Kael'thas just being Kael'thas, just doing those things. John, thanks for the host. Appreciate it. And welcome to everybody stopping by as Johanna being banned out. Now, Johanna wasn't the second tank I was talking about, but Johanna does see a lot of bans in Division C because she's just a powerhouse brick wall, makes it very difficult to get past, and on this map especially, she can pull them all together and allow your mages to get that big AoE damage. And our first tank of the game is going to be Diablo, and that actually was the tank that I was talking about, that number 2 tank. So he does get some pretty significant value here around these control points, allowing you to smash people into walls and really set up some significant plays with that APOC. Followed up by the Arthas and Lunara, so a little bit of an early Lunara pick. which I was just about to say allows the enemy team to come in with some you know, backline threats like the Genji or the Zeratul. So we'll see what they pick up to protect. Now, if you've been playing the new hero, Anduin, he is banned for the rest of this season, so we will not be seeing any of him tonight. Third ban being the Jaina ban, not a big surprise with the potential Ring VP APOC setup there, as well as just generally having good solid damage, and then Maiev. How many medallions for a hello you there? Hello? Hello, you there? I don't know, how many medallions is that worth, Rec? We'll have to get back to that. Arcane Arboretum? Dude, I just love the name. I love the name. Just rolls off the tongue. Gul'dan, absolutely top tier shrine clear here. He just clears the skeletons like nobody's business, because he can just drain the life and keep himself going forever. And then we do have the Rhaegar. So the Rhaegar with the Ancestral Asmo is an interesting pick. Haven't seen a whole lot of him. Seen a lot of bans of Asmo. I haven't seen a lot of play of Asmo. So Asmo can, if you can get those pulled together, do some pretty significant clear. Oh shit, who's this? So Carthlin isn't there. Carthin, there we go. Nope, Swill's up there. Shit, who's that for? Argyle? Posty? Helio? Oh, there's Carthin. I can't make my player windows work if I don't have them all in there. And then we see the Rexar for that final selection. All right, so game number 1 here on Infernal Shrines. A lot of dot damage coming out on the left into the Zeratul. A little bit of a squishy backline of Zeratul can get in there, especially at the level 16, getting those resets with, you know, the additional help of Misha. But, you know, you've got a little bit more stun control on the side of Periloot, so this is going to be an interesting game, and it's going to depend on who can execute their CC chain a little bit more effectively. You know, whether it's the Arthas root, the Rexar stun, or maybe that Horrify. And, I mean, do we see a Syndergosa here, maybe? I don't know. I'm guessing probably not. I'm thinking they'll probably do Army. Right? I don't know. John, I think I agree with you. I think that the Ana would have been a really good, really solid pick for them, but they didn't want to go into that, so. Alrighty then, game number 1 on Infernal Shrines between Can't Counterpick Stupid and Periloot. Let's go ahead and introduce our teams. For Can't Counterpick Stupid, we've got Caladorn playing the Gul'dan, Osprey on Lunara, Valkymer is on the Arthas, Wit's End playing Rhaegar, and Silma on Rexar. For Periloot, we've got Tosti on Asmodan, Swill on Diablo, Helio on Alexstrasza, Argyle Booster is going to be playing Zeratul, and Carthin is going to be playing Sonya, the Dreadlord. Quick look at the talents. We did get the Echoed Corruption and the Root Quest for Arthas there. And then it looks like is that Greed? Wrath. I can never remember the sins that he plays with. Coming out for Asmodan. In the top lane, we've got the matchup of Sonya versus Misha. Rexar just sitting in the back to make sure that he's giving her an indication of what she should be doing, and Zeratul trying to shark around. As the Shrine Clear definitely a little bit in favor of Can't Counterpick Stupid, thanks to that Gul'dan. Valkymer coming in just to slow down this rotation, as they've already cleared out this bottom lane, and that's going to be almost maybe even a full wave of XP that they miss. Pretty close. And those melee minions provide a little bit more XP in the early game, so that's a big loss to them to lose even just those 4 minions that they lost. And Valkymer finding the Zeratul there, just poking him a little bit, keeping him busy. So we see these rotations here the Gul'dan and Lunara allowing them to get so far ahead. They are going to go ahead and come down now and get the bottom camp. Let's keep an eye on what the rest of the team's going to do up here. They're going to chunk down the Arthas, but it doesn't really matter. They've got enough time to get this whole camp. Let's check in on top lane. Yeah, we can check top. So Sonya's about half health. Trying to get some whirlwind damage in on the Rexxar, because of course Misha's just going to heal it up over time. And if she's not careful, that Rexxar could throw out a stun and kill her, but it looks like maybe he just used it a little bit earlier. So mid lane, we've got, again, these Gul'dan, Lunara rotations just so strong, keeping them busy. Locking him down now. Arthas gonna root and slow the Diablo, but he's Diablo. He does have a lot of health. Only about 24 stacks though, so not enough health, as he will be the first blood of the game. And Can't Counterpick Stupid is pushing strong. They want to get the maximum amount of value that they can out of this. Getting that mid camp and pushing forward here. And they do complete that camp. So here's we've got Azmodan sitting at 34 stacks, so a little bit behind where you want to be at this point. 8 stacks for the Echoed Corruption, 4 for the root out of Arthas. Then again, he's not really in a position to get hero damage stacks, so he's really got to look at getting the stacks out of the minions, and that's a little bit harder to do unless your team is coordinating with you. First Punisher is going to be Arcane Punisher here in this bot lane, and it does get started by Periloot. Alexstrasza popping out her W heal. Unfortunately only hits one person who needs the heal. About even on the Shrine Clear so far, but Rexxar coming in and getting chunked down to about half. 4-man root coming out of the Arthas, but no significant follow-up. They just want to get these defenders. Misha putting in the hurt with the big stun onto the Zeratul and Diablo. And Zeratul low. He's got to run back to that dragon. He needs that heal. It's 30. Oh, he dies to the Lunara dot. Just so close. And now this first Arcane Punisher, dragon or no, is going to go over to Can't Counterpick Stupid. With all of that just siege pressure. The Arcane Punisher did lose a little bit of its initial damage, but it scales a little bit better, so it becomes better over time. It's still a very strong Punisher, not something you want to tank those lasers. But as you can see, we've got Arthas in the mid lane, we've got Rexxar in the top lane, and they want to get whatever value they can out of those lanes while also pushing down here in this bot lane. And they're level 7 now. Let's check in on those talents while this is going on here. Asmo still trying to catch up there. And level 7 now on for both teams. So we did get the cleanse out for Rhaegar, and of course that negative outside healing, but boosted self-healing for Gul'dan. Wit's End on the Rhaegar is going to go ahead and come down here to this bottom camp, get this work done, and Gul'dan's going to help him out here. It's just not a whole lot that the Alex and Zeratul can do alone by themselves here. In mid lane, Arthas keeping things busy. He's got Diablo, he's got Asmo. And now Periloot's going to come down here, get this lane cleared up, as Sonya's going to go ahead and get started on this Bruiser camp, the Shaman camp up top. And Can't Counterpick Stupid, here they come, looking for that Zeratul, just barely missing the root. Managing to prevent the Azmodan from going back. And Rexxar coming in, he sniffed this out. This could be a very big problem for Sonya. At the very least, she's going to have to back off. And she does make it out, but she doesn't have a whole lot of health. Now the Asmo dunk coming in. The stun. Rexxar now having to sacrifice Misha most likely, just to make sure that he gets away. So good read on that. Just unfortunately probably a few seconds too early, as Asmo looking to get those stacks. Here comes Diablo. But unfortunately, the team is already gone. There's nothing for you here, Diablo. So once again, Asmo sitting now at 51 stacks. Gonna have to do a little bit better if he's gonna get value out of that pick. You know, there's no reason to take Asmo if you can't get those stacks up. So you got to get those get those up. You want to be 200, you know, as close to level 10 as possible, right? I mean, that's where the value comes here. So top lane here, thanks to this Shaman camp, Misha's very low here with the Bestial Wrath, but does manage to finish the Shaman camp and push Sonya back a bit. So let's take a look at these heroics here. So we did get the Ancestral Healing for Rhaegar. We've got the Leaping Strike for Lunara, the Horrify, Gul'dan, as mentioned earlier, the Bestial Wrath for Misha, and Army of the Dead for Arthas. It'll be interesting to see what we get out of Periloot here. And it looks like Zeratil's going to get caught, but surely he's got his Blink Away, which he doesn't even need it. Alright, Heroics coming online for Periloot here. So we've got the Void Prison, APOC, the Black Pool, I think that's called, and Zeratul went back in and just gets obliterated. And then Wrath of the Berserker for Sonya. Alex Raza hasn't taken hers yet. I wonder if they... I don't know that they have enough direct threat for the Cleansing Flame to be needed, but they do go ahead and take that. And here comes now Can't Counterpick Stupid, looking to get in onto this point. Periloot does get a good start on it at least. You know, they're almost halfway there, and Zeratul is on his way back now. Root going out. Diablo charges Arthas into the wall there, but he's Arthas. He's just walking up with his army, slowing everybody down, but he's so far ahead of the rest of his team. Here comes Zeratul, gets a good VP. Here comes the APOC, and 3 members get hit by it. The Horrify going out, knocking 2 of them away, and there goes the Ancestral as well. Argo Booster getting very low on the Zeratul. He is just barely kept alive, as now Diablo is deep, and he's about half. Sonya's getting the Whirlwind value in the back there, but she's on an island as Misha goes down. And she has to back away, get into this dragon. They are now 10 away from getting this next Punisher, and it looks like Can't Counterpick Stupid has to back away. They're so low in health, and no mana on the Arthas. And it looks like they're all going to go ahead and hearth away. This Mortar Punisher now, again, as mentioned earlier, the Mortar bombs coming out of this Punisher are significantly more damage. So as a base, they went up by like 3.5 times. And the Punisher's going to land onto Lunara and punch her down so hard. If she's not careful, one of those mortars could actually just kill her. Oh man, that was close. And there's the Zeratul saying, hey, if they can't finish it, I will, but he just barely misses. As these jump onto Rhaegar now, this first keep for Periloot will now go down as well. So it's 1 keep in favor of both teams, but Zeratul just sticks around a little bit too long, gets rooted, and will be taken out thanks to the Leaping Strike from Lunara. Sonya getting caught by the Arthas, pops Wrath of the Berserker. Maybe a little bit premature. I don't know that that was necessary, but obviously we can see things a little bit better than she can. Now, an aggressive play coming from Can't Counterpick Stupid into this camp here. Let's zoom out and take a little bit better look at what's going on. But they didn't have to worry about it. They knew Zeratul wasn't there, and Asmo was elsewhere, so be it. Periloot will go ahead and get this camp cleared out. Let's go ahead and check in on the stack. So 137, Asmo, popping off about 10 stacks per level. So maybe by the end of next game, he'll be finished with that. And you would think he'd be doing better. You got a Misha here as well. And look at this. We got Arthas jumping in. But all of the team of Can't Counterpick Stupid is here. The VP going out. Here comes the APOC trying to help to get the Azmodan away. Cleansing Flame going out, but not going to be enough. Fear going on to Zeratul, and he gets obliterated again. Zeratul just cannot catch a break in this game. And they are looking at a second fort here as they do catch Diablo in the root, but he's getting chunked down so hard. 300, 200, 150, 20 dead. Can't Counterpick Stupid is coming out strong. They are looking like they want to win this game. And Periloot just cannot. They've got to... They're playing a bit later game of a comp with the Zeratul and the Azmodan, and they're just not getting there. They need to get to 16. They need Asmo to come online. He needs to be a hero rather than just a glorified camp at this point. Got to get that value. Getting up to 167 now, so catching up a little bit. may be able to clear minions in one round. Alright, and now CCS looking at the top fort, knowing that the Punisher, the next Punisher is in that bot lane. And Root going out onto the Diablo. Sonya pops Wrath. Here comes the Zeratul trying to cleave in, get some damage into that backline. Sonya's still got that Wrath going, trying to get some Whirlwind healing going on here. And everybody's still pretty healthy on both sides. A lot of abilities being thrown out, but nobody really taking a bunch of damage directly that their healers can't keep up. And ultimately that will be another fort going down for Counterpick Stupid. Just bringing the pressure. And now they've got level 16s. Level 16 online, we've got, you know, pretty much standard stuff, I think, here. So the auto attack slows and the Remorseless Winter, so causing them to get rooted. The additional damage if you get hit by 3 ticks of the Corruption. The increased damage on, is it slowed targets? Yep, slowed, rooted, or stunned. So that's going to be really helpful with that Arthas slow. And look at this. CCS saying, hey, you know what? We can go ahead and get a little cheeky here. You're going to throw that Punisher into a fort, but we're going to come up here and take this keep down. And somewhat expected army, but they don't have it yet. That's why. So they're just popping their cooldowns. Here comes Zeratul, but he's not 16. He can't get those resets. And they are going to get that first keep down now and walk away. Bot lane now has a Punisher. It is a frozen Punisher, so this will get the value of shutting down these structures. Take a look at this right here. So 3 seconds of time that wall is frozen. So Sonya and Alexstrasza can at least get some damage, but look at Azmodan all by himself up in the mid lane here. And here comes the cavalry. They're trying to say they're coming in, but everybody's behind him, and now Azmodan getting chunked down by that Lunara. Here's the Punisher joining the fight, punching in on Gul'dan. But that death is a problem, and now they've got pressure on their core, and Periloot just has to back out. They got to come get this camp, work on getting to 16 so that they've got the value of their Zeratul, and hopefully soon the Asmo finally getting to that 200 stack, so he at least gets the bonus of that additional auto attack damage. But check this out. They wanted to come down here and get this camp, but they are so split apart here. As Rhaegar diving in on the Diablo, Diablo flips him over, but he's so by himself. There's nothing to be done here. Just too far forward. All right. So what do we got? Level 18 versus level 15. And can't counterpick Stupid now coming into the bot lane, looking to do another keep here while the Diablo is down. They do have army this time to soak the keep shots if they want to, as Asmo's trying to get whatever damage he can on that. Here comes the army to go ahead and pop this down. Dragon's going to go ahead and come out. Root onto the back line coming out of Arthas. Horrify onto the Dragon and Sonya, keeping them away, and now this keep is going to go down. And once again, they can just walk away. They got what they need to. Oh, but here's the VP. And here comes Diablo. He could, but he's, oh, his APOC wasn't on cooldown, or it was off cooldown. He couldn't do anything with it. It just came available as the VP was ending. And the Root will get them out. Oh, so it feels bad, so bad. And now you still have a camp over here. Just a little bit of one with a catapult. So it's not going to get very far. And this camp doing so much work for them in this mid lane, getting that wall down, getting that keep a little bit of damage, and they do come down here, finish off this fort at least, which the Punisher didn't even do earlier when they had to back off. And here we go, 5v5, 19 versus 16. This might be your time to shine. But Diablo's all by himself again. Here goes the raw APOC hitting absolutely nobody. Diablo getting thrown down so hard. And there he goes to the Arthas. The root out on the Sonya, trying to spin to win, as Zeratul now going down in the back between Misha and Greyman, or Gul'dan rather. Greyman's not on this map. Arthas going ahead and getting the root onto Alexstrasza. The only person left on this map on the red team is Azmodan. Azmodan, who is at 284 stacks. Level 20 is online now for Can't Counterpick Stupid, and they are looking to finish up this game. They have 20 seconds before Diablo's on the table, 20 seconds before Zeratul's on the table. they should be able to finish this quite easily in that amount of time. And it looks like that's going to be the case. Good game. Over to Counterpick Stupid for game 1 on Infernal Shrines. So that was a pretty solid showing coming out of Counterpick Stupid. 13-0 on the kills. It was just such a heavy late game coming out of Periloot, and they could never quite get it online. I think Asmo at the end was roughly about 300 stacks on his talent there. And Infernal Shrines is a place you would think that you could get pretty significant value on that because of the control points. You know, those getting those minions down in the enemy team being there pretty significantly. And talents, just a quick look at talents here. They're already identifying where they want to go, so I'm going to go ahead and pop over to the live screen for you, or the not the live screen, the pre-live screen, so you can have a little bit of a music break, and we'll be back in just a moment as we set up the next game. Alrighty, we're back. We'll be ready to launch this up here in just a moment. So we were just on Infernal Shrines. Now Periloot has decided that we are now going to Battlefield of Eternity. Take a look at those maps again. So once again, going to Battlefield of Eternity now. Looks like we're all ready. So we're going to go ahead and get into this draft.
Battlefield of Eternity.
All right, so if you are Periloot, your season's on the line. You're the number 6 seed. Hopefully you did some scouting on Can't Counterpick Stupid, and you gotta do something a little bit different. Something like what you did last map is not gonna work here. You can't have a late game comp on BOE. You have to have some race for the Immortal. Gotta have the potential, in theory, to defend against the enemy team and whatever shenanigans they may bring to the table. So, you know, your top race heroes are people like your Raynor, your Greymane, your Vala, your Artanis. Some of these may end up getting banned out. Wouldn't surprise me to see one of those banned out in the first round, like Hanzo. So Hanzo was banned out last round too, so that's not a big surprise. He fell in the overall DPS race pretty significantly when they nerfed him, but he still does pretty decent damage to the Immortal, especially if they actually try to walk in and get some poke damage on him. Anubrak, again, you know, just a top tank, and the Cocoon is just such a strong ult in the game that, you know, you just remove somebody that you don't like from the game, and all of a sudden it's a 5v4. Johanna going to be banned out, so no blinds for you. No easy structured wall tank for you. And last time, these guys banned out the Kael'thas here. So Kael'thas, I don't think he gets as much value here. It's not a surprise. Yeah, Lunara also has some pretty decent race on the Immortal if she takes the Nature's Culling. So, you know, with as much damage as she did in that last game, it's not a big surprise that they would want to take her out of the equation. So their first pick last game on this side was Arthas and Gul'dan, so they are going to go ahead and start with the Artanis. And again, Artanis is one of those you know, big heavy racers. He takes that amateur opponent at level 1 and pretty much just melts the Immortal. And here comes Chromie into the Nexus. Chromie's, you know, I don't know exactly the level of her race, but it's definitely gone up now that she can actually hit the Immortal with her Q ability. And especially once she gets that third version of her, the level 1 quest, assuming that they take that, of course. Once she gets that, she can melt it, do a lot of damage. Once again, the Arthas followed up by the Sylvanas. So Sylvanas allowing them to push harder. I guess, you know, they're looking at this. Sylvanas by herself does a lot of damage. They're looking at this and saying, you know what, we managed to pull this off really strong in the early game, last game, and if we can get the Immortal, we can push hard with it. And with the race they have so far, they could very likely get the Immortal. So far, there's still some really solid race heroes out there, so it'll be interesting to see who they take as a healer as well against the Chromie. Do you take somebody that's got a big cleanse, maybe like Rhaegar again, an Uther potentially? They don't have a lot of dot damage on the other side, and Garrosh being the final ban of the match. Or do you look at maybe like a Lucio and go with the high 5? Give that Arthas a little bit of speed boost. We'll have to find out in a moment, because it's Periloot's turn to pick. So what are they going to take with this Chromie? What are they going to take with Stukov? They want that silence. So they're going to see... There's the Raynor. They're going to see somebody with lockdown. So, okay, so Imperius is going to give him a little bit of that. And let's see. So Swill's their last player. So I almost want to see an ETC out of them, depending on what they come out here with. All right, so there's the Rhaegar. Not a big surprise there. Gives them the cleanse. Then Gul'dan. So, all right, Muradin. Okay, fair enough. Muradin. So it gives them a little bit of lockdown. It gives them some, additional heavy front line. They've got the potential to get out of dodge. He's got his own sustain. Depending on if he takes the Stormbolt quests, that could be additional damage that they throw onto the Immortal. So I don't hate it. Muradin, generally speaking, if I remember right, according to Nexus Edge, had a pretty low win rate in general for Nexus Gaming Series. So we'll see if that holds true here as we get ready for game number 2 on Battlefield of Eternity. So we're going to 2 Diablo maps, Infernal Shrines followed up by BOE. And on the left, we've got the 2-year anniversary synergy going on with those portraits. If you're not aware, log in to get your 4-year anniversary player portraits and banners and all that stuff. So on the left, we have Can't Counterpick Stupid. And for their team, we're going to see the Arthas played by Valkymer. Osprey is going to be on the Artanis. Silma is going to be running Sylvanas. Celadorn on the Gul'dan. And I missed somebody. Celadorn. Wit's End on Rhaegar. For the right team, Periloot, we've got Carthen? There we go. Carthen on Imperius. Helio on the Stukov. Toasty on the Raynor. Swill on the Muradin, and Argle Booster is going to be playing that Chromie. Let's take a look at those talents. So we do see the Q talent quest coming out for Chromie. So she wants to get that 3rd version of herself, as they're already starting on this fight early. Echoed Corruption. We do see that quest talent for Muradin, the Q quest, the Stormbolt quest. So he's looking to get as much damage out of those Stormbolts as possible. Spine Launcher, I think, is what it's called. Yep, for the Stukov. So a little bit more range on those, but gives them slow as well. And I believe, if I remember right, Chromie gets a talent. I don't know if she'll take it, but she gets a talent that increases damage against CC'd targets that are slowed, among other things, I'm sure, but we'll come back to that later. Oh, and is that Executioner? Exterminator, rather. Executioner is something else. So yeah, so Raynor going full in on the race. And I think that's kind of what they're going for out of the Muradin as well. So basically, just a whole lot of poke here. Some corruption stacks for Gul'dan. Keeping that time trap up for Vision. Making sure that they know what's going on over there. Checking out this bot camp. Making sure that Sylvanas isn't going to go down there and try to do something cheeky with her ability to shut down camps. And the root going out onto the Raynor. Pretty far back there, too. Let's go ahead and get off that. Thanks. Yes, I did just say thanks to myself, because I am my own best observer. The big hit's coming out of Chromie onto Valkymer there, as Muradin has to jump out and runs back to tap. So 2-minute warning here, as we've got Can't Counterpick Stupid coming in on their, not on theirs, but on the bot camp. And Arthas having to back out here, 4 versus 1 essentially in the lane. But they don't manage to get anything done on him except push it back a little bit. Rhaegar being hyper aggressive, gets stunned by the Muradin, but he is going to be able to pop into doggy form and get away. I imagine, yeah, he's going to go ahead and hearth back there for health and mana before this objective. And here comes the announcement, and I would expect both of these teams to go back and start looking at their camp. Yeah, and Gul'dan's already started this one over here, so they'll be a little bit ahead here on that. Give them a little bit of flexibility, maybe even get on the Immortal a little bit sooner. And it looks like, did we get a Merc Queen? I think we did get a Merc Queen. We sure did. In the top, Imperius v Artanis. Pretty, seemingly pretty even. And now Chromie having to go back because of all the damage she took. And Can't Counterpick Stupid is going to be the first on the Immortals, and they're going to be able to chunk this down to halftime pretty much before Periloot's even going to show up. So yeah, not even a single point of damage on that Immortal. And there are camps pushing in both lanes for Can't Counterpick Stupid, but only in the top lane for Periloot. So they do have 5 people going in on this. Valkymer getting caught out, Imperius stunned, and obliterated by the Muradin there at the end. Raynor going to get over here and start doing damage on their Immortal, trying to get things caught up here. But it's still fairly early, so he's not getting the full amount of damage he could with all of his other abilities there. Osprey coming in, trying to get his burst damage onto this Immortal. And it's basically 4 on now 4 here, as Imperius going in on the back onto Sylvanas, chunking her down so hard. And ultimately that the Immortal will go over to Can't Counterpick Stupid, but there goes the Artanis. See, they pay for it. They are losing people. And Arthas is very low to going down here as Sylvanas now goes down. And Muradin trying to chase him down, but he doesn't have any more mana. So they've got to get back. They've got to deal with this Immortal now. It's going in the bot lane. They've got a full wall, and they should have a mostly free clear of this, as long as they're, cautious about their positioning and everything. They just got level 7s. Let's see what they're doing with those talents. So I think that's the talent I mentioned earlier. Yep. So Chromie just does 25% additional damage whenever anything is slowed or stunned. Raynor giving the... Where's Raynor? Raynor is not giving the slows on his... give him some pepper. And here we go. So walking right into the bush, face checking into that bush as the time trap manages to keep Muradin alive there. But Gul'dan's so low. If he comes back in, one hit from, say, Chromie could just finish him off. So a lot of damage. They didn't really get punished for that as hard as I think they should have. And the Rhaegar diving in, trying to be a hyper-aggressive Rhaegar here. As now Periloot very low on mana on that Chromie, so they do have to be a little bit cautious here. In the lane is a full health and mana Sylvanas and basically Arthas as well. Level 7's coming out for CCS. Pretty similar here talents as to what we saw before. And Rhaegar getting caught out by the Muradin. And but Arthas coming in and rooting the Raynor. And getting chunked down for his efforts. And Sylvanas go ahead and pop off the Khazar camp, shutting them all down. Excuse me, folks. Raynor getting slowed by Arthas and caught by that Rhaegar, but Rhaegar just getting chunked down thanks to the opposing forces there. Up in the quick look at the top lane here, we've got Artanis getting just pummeled between the camp and Imperius. And we do see the slowing sands for Chromie as Arthas goes back, gets a refresh on his health and mana. And now the race begins. Chromie sitting at 20 stacks on her Q talent level 1 and 11 for that Muradin. He did take that additional damage from his Stormbolt, but holy smokes, even with the Raynor, they're just, and the Executioner, Exterminator, there we go. It just went so fast for CCS, and Arthas having to pop root just to get away. So now they've got a little bit of breathing room here, but not a ton. They still have a lot of damage on the side of CCS, and Muradin's pushing the Gul'dan away, saying, nah, we want to get our damage on this. Did I say that wrong? I must have said that wrong. They did have it. I thought, whatever. Halftime went the direction that I didn't think it went. Whatever. Things happened. Level 10 heroics are now online for Periloot. Let's take a look at these. We've got Angelic Armaments. We've got that Slowing Sands, Hyperion, Avatar, and the Flailing Swipe. And we've got a half a level to go before they're up for CCS. So they want to get as much advantage out of this as they can. There goes the Hyperion to give them that pressure. And Muradin just zoning out for his team, making sure that he stalls anything he possibly can. The Artanis, though, diving in and just getting shut down there in the middle of his Blade Dash. Still a pretty healthy Immortal here as 10's just about to come online for Can't Counterpick Stupid. There they are. And we'll see what they pick up here. We do have Suppression Pulse, Mind Control, Ancestral coming out. The Horrify, and will we see the Syndragosa? We will see the Syndragosa. Coming bot lane, Arthas v Imperius. No real action there. And we got all 5 of them over here checking these bushes, coming and getting their shaman camps. Same thing on the other side. A couple of shaman camps. And they'll just end up clearing them up in the middle. One will go to one side, the other go, you know, things that people do in this game. And Chromie's slowing down all those minions, trying to maybe get in on that Arthas, but a little bit too far. And we've got Periloot coming down to get this camp started. They are going to be able to get it before the Sylvanas sniffs it out. But keep in mind, Sylvanas has the big Merc Queen for that extra damage coming out. As the Horrify hits everybody on Periloot here, Murden has to jump out. And Raynor is so far out, he just mounts up and walks away. They are really lucky that that wasn't better set up by Can't Counterpick Stupid. That could have been very problematic. And here goes Syndragosa shutting down the tower, shutting down the fort. The Mind Control out on the Murden, pulling him back, but the Flailing Swipe coming out of Stukov saves him. Ancestral going out onto Arthas and manages to keep him alive as the Slowing Sands prevents them from coming in any more than they did. So out of all of that, they basically just got that wall. So they did get value. There's a lot of ults for a little bit of value, but it did happen. And now both teams basically rotating up. I don't know that they know each other is doing this, but it is there. And the Immortals on the more defensive positions here. Let's zoom out and watch this here. So Murden just trying to zone out, make sure they can't do anything, but halftime very slightly in favor of Can't Counterpick Stupid by just about 2,300. And here you go. So they're going to go offensive. Periloot's going to come in. There's a big root coming out onto the Chromie and the Stukov, but down goes Arthas. And now with this Void Zone here, with this Slowing Sands, it is a very difficult place for CCS to come into. And the Imperius catching the Rhaegar with his stun. Murden gets him with his stun, and good night, doggy. And now, 2 members of CCS down, no members of Periloot down. This should be a nice, easy Immortal for Periloot, as long as they don't stand in those stuns. Good job. Way to get out of there. Alright then. So we got 13s online for Periloot. This Immortal's going to go bot lane. Imperius is going to go top lane with the Artanis. I think I would have rather seen him down here pushing with this Immortal, but, you know, each their own. Not saying I'm right, just saying that's what I would have liked to see. And we see out of Chromie here the cooldown reduction on her Q. So we'll see what kind of value that gets against this team. And here comes Imperius. About 60 seconds after I said, hey, you should come down here, Imperius is coming down here. Slowing Sands slightly off center, giving them a nice funnel choke point if they want to come into it. And dropping those bombs. Suppression Pulse going out, hitting absolutely everybody, giving them the clear that they need on this Immortal. Syndragosa going out, though. The Flailing Swipe pulling him back, but manages to get 2 people with the swipe there? I guess. Maybe it happened? Stukov going down in the middle of that. That was a hell of a swap. Did he make... Oops, that's not the one I wanted. Another swap in on that Muradin, and he's going to get rooted and goes down. So I don't know how he got that. Maybe the Mind Control went out. Yeah, Mind Control's on cooldown, so that just came out at the same time and managed to pull somebody in with at the same time the swap was going out. Well played from Can't Counterpick Stupid. That was quite the fantastic combo. Now Imperius trying to solo this camp. I'm a little surprised. That'll take a little while for him, so we'll see if he can get that down, as CCS is looking to get their first fort structure of the game. And this top lane is so heavily pushed up. Now they've got the Khazar camp and soon to be the Shaman camp. As with that pressure, they can now come down here, clean up this bottom Khazar camp for their own, and potentially put some pressure back onto Counterpick Stupid. So chat, who are you here to see? Are you here rooting for Counterpick Stupid number 2? The what do they call that? Slam Poetry Masters of C West? Or are you here for the underdog, Periloot? Make sure you call out and root for him in chat. They need this. Big stun coming out of Imperius is looking to get down the Gul'dan. It does. Valkymer on the Arth is very close to going down as well, as they will manage to get the full invade and steal this camp. Now, just as a reminder here, you may not have seen it here, there are now towers over this mid wall, so keep an eye out for that when you're playing this game. It's not going to be as easy to gank that middle healing well. And a big stun onto the Rhaegar, as they're looking to defend what they can out of the Shaman camp, but Sylvanas just makes it so easy to clear that, so they're not going to get a whole lot of value here. But Immortals are back up. So you do have 16. You have that 16 advantage for just a brief moment, and the other team's still down their Gul'dan, so you've got maybe enough time to get this to halftime, thanks to your race value.
Our battle cannot remain here.
And they do. And we'll see what CCS can do on this. Are they just gonna... Yeah, they are gonna posture up for defense. And they do... I'm not entirely sure how they saw the Arthas. I guess the W coming out of Imperius. The swap misses. Managed to hit precisely nothing. The root going out on Chromie, and now she gets blinded. Murden all by himself. Imperius managing to stun in on Arthas. Angelic Armaments pop. The mind control out on Murden obliterates him, but there goes the Armaments and finishes off the Arthas thanks to Raynor. Keladrin on Gul'dan goes down, but Imperius so low, he drops as well, and Rhaegar gets pummeled by Chromie as Sylvanas finishes off Imperius. People are dying left and right. Artanis, the only one left alive for CCS, as this full shielded Immortal will go over to Periloot. This is absolutely going to be a keep for them, and depending on what happens, it could be game. And oh, look at this, Chromie saying we want to get this bot keep too. They've got a catapult. She's 18. She can pierce through all of those minions, and here's Stukov to help out with that. They have plenty of time, and if he's not careful, Artanis could find himself in the graveyard too with a heavily staggered death. So this bottom keep is definitely maybe gonna go over. Oh, that was a good time trap, or timeout. There we go. But the root from Arthas will catch her. She's gonna have a tough time getting away if he bothers to stick with it, which he did not. Top keep going over now, and all 5 of CCS are back up. And now, coming in from the graveyard is Murden, taking the extremely long route. And they're looking to get this keep. So now both keeps down thanks to this big push from the Immortal, and they're getting some core damage, 90% on that core, as they now have to clean up these catapults. And if you're Periloot, you're looking at this going, we're not 20, but can we do it? And the answer is maybe, but let's just wait. Let's get those level 20s. We're 2 levels up, level and a half almost up on our opponents. Let's focus on getting those 20s so that we know we can end this game. They're playing really well into this right now. They just need to be calm, cool, collected. I appreciate you, Rek. I'm glad that you're here for me, buddy. So Periloot looking to go to the top lane, get that Khazar camp. Chromie dropping the vision in on the point. And here comes CCS. They're pretty sure they're coming up here. They want to clear out this lane. But Artanis has got to clear out this bot lane too. And there's only one place for them to go now, right to that Shaman camp. This is the only XP they can really get at this point, because anything else is just too far ahead. And CCS saying, we want this fight before 20. But they're not all really in a good position for this. And that allows Chromie to go straight back, Hearth back. Can we go even? Yeah, we can't go farther out. I like this way far zoomed out view. You can see everything on the map. Both of the Shaman camp. They can see Artanis is up there. They see that the map was, or the camp was just taken, and this is a aggressive posturing for the Immortals. So getting on this so quickly is going to be of huge value to them, as Artanis just trying to slow them down as much as he can. The time trap's going to give them some good pause on this if she uses it. There she goes. So halftime going over for Periloot. They are in a very strong position on this. And I fully expect CCS to look to defend again. And this is it. This is the game. Definitely the game for Periloot if they get this. So they can be extra slow and patient on this. They have pressure in both lanes. And here comes the Cinder Gosa going out into the slow that Chromie had dropped down to, and in kind of an awkward place. The Mind Control going out on Imperius pops off with the Angelic Armaments, but the Ancestral going on to Osprey leaves Rhaegar to get pummeled by Imperius there, and he catches the Artanis with his Celestial Charge. The blind going out just to keep things slowed down. By the way, Gul'dan died back there, and it looks like Raynor's getting on that Immortal. He says, you know what, we don't need to chase this. This Immortal wins the game for us, and that is the right call. Take the sure win, don't take the chase. They will get a nearly full Immortal out of this, and I fully expect this to be game. You have 30 seconds until Rhaegar and Gul'dan can make it back onto the map. You have Flailing Swipe, and that's it for your cooldowns. There is a Mind Control on the enemy team, but that's it. That's all you got. I mean, Chromie's got her Slowing Sands, but that doesn't count. That's always up. Periloot looking to come in and take us to a game number 3. Rhaegar and Gul'dan coming back up right now as they will get started on this keep. Raynor gets swapped in, and the blind going out now slows things down. Imperius pops the Angelic Armaments and chunks down Arthas to half just with that one shot. The fear going out, but it's just not enough, as game number 2 will go over to Periloot. We have a game number 3, ladies and gentlemen. Periloot showing up. They said, you know what, you had us 13-0 that game and 13-4 in this game. They brought it. They did what they did. They brought the race. They had the CC. They had the coordination. They did everything they needed to do to make sure that this was their game. Let's take a look at those talents. They did get level 20 talents. I didn't really call those out. So the upgraded Hyperion, the Rewind for Muradin, that extra healing out of Stukov, the Q Pierce we did mention, and of course that Heavenly Host, giving everybody on the team an extra shield and a sword to throw at the enemy team. So take a look at those stats again. And all right, these teams are hot to trot and ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and send us over, give you a little bit of a countdown, and we'll be back in just a moment. I get time. Oh, I got to tell it that it's today. Okay. All right, welcome back, everybody. We are all set up and ready to go here, going into game number 3. And this third game is going to be played on another map that had some updates here. We're now going to Volskaya Foundry. And that was the pick by Can't Counterpick Stupid. Let's see, did we get the... And everybody's all set up and ready to go, so just waiting on the second team, and it looks like they are ready as well. So we'll get this going. Up. 3, 2, 1. All right, welcome to Volskaya Industries, where the Protector is nerfed, and the mid-game doesn't matter. So we'll see now. We had some pretty hot characters in these last couple of games. The Chromie was just brutal, and Perius as well this last game. But in the first game, Arthas with the combination of Lunara Gul'dan was really, really strong. Gul'dan, of course, being in that last game as well as Arthas, but just not quite able to get the same value thanks to the Imperious stuns, the Muradin stuns, and shutting down that front line. So we'll see how things continue on into game number 3 here. A Nubarak being the standard ban, and the Hanzo as well. So I have to assume that these, one of these guys has a Hanzo main that just destroys or something, because Hanzo's just not that common of a ban. Lunara, again, that first game she was pretty brutal. So many deaths on the Zeratul thanks to that Lunara getting the dot value, getting the leaping strike value. And second ban here, who do you get rid of? I mean, Chromie can be pretty painful on this map too. Alright. And this is what they pay me for, ladies and gentlemen, for knowing exactly what they're going to do. And by pay me, I mean don't. Alright, so your first pick on Volskaya Foundry, you have the pick of tanks. And I was just going to say, Johanna being left out now is going to get picked up for Swill. And they don't even wait. Their tank was the last pick they had last game. And they said, fine, if you're going to let us have her, we're going to take her. And Johanna she's just so difficult to push off the point here. So that's a big, strong, heavy tank for Periloot to have going into this game 3. And this is the end of the season. This is your semifinals playoff match. So you got to put it out here. Either team, this is the end of it. So what are we going to get? Are we going to get any real saucy stuff? We see more Arthas coming out of Valk. Stukov Imperius again coming out. Not a big surprise. I like both of those picks. They played them, really well in the last game. The Flailing Swipe saved quite a bit of the team there. And now you've got the Johanna to couple with the Imperius, pull him in, stun him. Like, this is shaping up to be a really scary team for Periloot. And they haven't even picked their DPS. But they won't get Chromie. I wonder if they play Orphea. Orphea could be pretty solid with this team as well. I think. You may disagree. You're allowed to disagree. But you know what? I can't hear you, so whatever. Banning out that Maiev again, and the Jaina on the other side. Jaina can also be pretty disgusting on this map. And with the Johanna, getting that Blessed Shield, getting the Condemn, that makes it real easy to get a Ring of Frost out. The Stukov roots, even a Water Elemental could be, a brutal pain in the neck for the Tyrande Arthas to deal with. And Kelador saying, you know what, I'm going to teach you. I'm going to put on a clinic on how to play the Azmodan. We'll see if Azmodan is the way to go on this map for this team. Oh, and by the way, Cassia as well. Kael'thas. I like the Kael'thas. I would have liked Dwarfia more, but I like the Kael'thas. What's our last pick for this team? Raynor? Yeah, okay. So you got your... You just need your solo. So who's your solo lane with this against Imperius? Are they going to look at that Rexar again, maybe? Who was it last game? Artanis? I don't think it's likely to go with Artanis. I could be wrong. I think Rexar is probably the more likely of the two. And they played him pretty well in that first game, so... Leoric. That's also... That's fair. Alright, so teams are set. Make sure they didn't change anybody around. Doesn't look like it. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is your third game team composition. I mean, if I'm being honest, I like Periloot. I like this draft a lot more. They got solid CC. They've got the potential to blow people up with that Kael'thas living bomb, the Raynor damage, I don't know, guys. I think Periloot has a strong chance of winning this game and being yet again the upset. What do you guys think? I mean, am I on an island on this one, or do you agree with me? Post in chat who you think's gonna win this game. All right, game number 3, Volskaya Foundry. Let's introduce our teams. For Can't Counterpick Stupid, we have Valkymer on the Arthas. I feel like I said that a lot. Keladorn on the Azmodan, Silma playing the Leoric, Wits End changing it up, going on the Tyrande, and Osprey is going to be on the Cassia. For Periloot, Carthan's going to be on Imperius again, Swill on the Johanna, Helio sitting on that Stukov. Argo Booster's going to play the Kael'thas, Menace of DC and Div DC and B, and Toasty going to play the Raynor. Good luck to both of you, because this is the last game you get to play if you're the loser. And let's get a look at these talents. It is Mana Addict. Good thing, because if it was Convection, I was going to have to quit the game right now. Ace in the Hole coming out. We do see the Iron Skin cooldown reduction. And the Hero Splash, or Hero Damage one for, is that Wrath? That's Gluttony. Of course it's Gluttony. Coming out for the Azmodan. So we'll see how this Azmodan compares to the prior Azmodan. This is another map where you can get a whole bunch of stacks because of these points. So you've only got the 2.5-ish melee, because Stukov did take that range on his auto attacks. So the point doesn't necessarily have to be filled with all of the enemy team. Really, for both sides, especially if you're trying to counter the Kael'thas Living Bomb. So we'll see how he stacks on that. I'd like to see Periloot play that a little bit safer and make sure that they don't stack him up too early. But these roots and stuns combo out of the Arthas and Tyrande are going to be a problem for them if they, if they get hit by one, they're going to get hit by both. As both teams now, about a minute and a half in, are going to go ahead and come down here and get their turrets. That is true, Dark Knight. You're absolutely correct. If everything was based on paper, then Periloot already won. But it's not. They've got to come in and they've got to play it better. And look at this. Imperius getting in on the Leoric, catching him off guard, getting the stun and the first blood, giving them level 4 right away here. And Kael'thas just going to town on this team in the mid lane, getting Cassia down low as she does get that heal out of the Tyrande. Lunar Flare quest coming out for Tyrande, and Raynor hasn't yet picked his level 4. He's not sure what he's going to go. He's going to go the Behemoth Armor? Yep, sure does. And sitting at 34 stacks for Asmo, so he's about where the other Asmo was. Just a little bit ahead. I think it was 37 at level 5 on that Infernal Shrines game. So we'll see how that turns out for them. More brawling in the middle as Lunar Flares just hitting left and right. These raw Lunar Flares are just hitting everybody. Almost like there's a magnet on those arrows. Giving a little kiss to Raynor. Let's take a look at Leo and Imperius down in the bot lane. So Imperius, of course, having that slightly higher mana cost on his E ability. But that doesn't seem to bother him. I don't know if he's got a tap available. But he's still got 3/4 of mana, so he's alright. Spine lawn chair? So again, both teams sitting here with a turret as Counterpick Stupid says, you know, that's fine, you can get started, but we want to get this heal camp. But Toasty's scouting this out. Knows that they're there, gets a little bit of damage in here, and now here comes the cavalry as they say, that's fine, we'll give up that percentage, we're going to take this from you. Now, are they going to just let it go? They leash it, it's healing back up a little bit, and they're going to get back on the point. They lost the timer, so they didn't get to complete the percentage, and now CCS is going to get this healing camp. And that will set them up pretty well for the invade when they choose to come in here. So if you're Periloot, I think right now your best circumstance is to go ahead and get them to drop that heal camp, and then you can just disengage. You don't even need to necessarily stay in on this. You've got plenty of time. There's the heal camp. You're 4v4, now 4v5 as Leo makes it up into the point, and here's the disengage. They still have their turret, and Wit's End still has a turret as well for CCS. Level 7's out for both teams. Here's a quick take on what we've got here for them. And now CCS is going to go get their turret camp as Periloot's going to come up here and get their siege camp. And Raynor's going to start working on some soak. They've got about another minute or so to be able to get back there and on that point and start that challenge. But it is 2-1 in favor of CCS for turrets, and now they're coming down with the invade, so it's going to be 3-1 if they don't come in and get this. And I don't know if there's enough time. They are going to get the damage on Arthas. The stun out, he's maybe going to make it out alive as Tyrande is keeping him just barely alive here. Let's get rid of these talents here. Jeez, the talent that Tyrande does, the D talent, getting the armor reduction onto Johanna. But look at these health bars. Everybody's so low from CCF, but they just can't quite finish it. Thanks to the 3 turrets, the wall of turrets coming out, making sure that Periloot just gets melted in there. Asmodan sitting at 106 stacks, so he's starting to pick up the pace a little bit here, thanks to this level 7 talent, giving him more mana and extra annihilation when he hits multiple people. Top lane, they've got this both towers down, and they're looking to get the healing well. And keep in mind, the power of the Protector went down a little bit in a team fight perspective. That W ability no longer roots, it just knocks you back, kind of like the dragon, just not as far. Dragon from Dragonshire, of course. 3 people getting rooted on the back there. It also lessened the range of the, or the radius rather, of the laser, and it does just general lower damage against heroes now. So just like that, Periloot went from being ahead in XP, and now they're down 1 full level as level 10 now online for CCS. And what do we see? We do see that Globe of Annihilation, Tide of Sin upgrade for the Asmodan. Of course, the Entomb for Leoric, Lightning Ball for Cassia, and Starfall out of Tyrande. And here comes the Syndragosa looking to get this top fort down. There's not a lot you can do if you're Periloot. And here goes the Lightning Orb and the Entomb onto Toasty on the Raynor and Johanna. Now Johanna with that negative armor. And this fort is still shut down for a good another 5 to 10 seconds. So they can just melt this thing down. Johanna getting caught by that root, and now that globe. What is Asmo up to? He's about to, yep, 157. So he's doing really well on those stacks now. Should be able to get to 200 if they keep fighting by 12, 13 or so. And they do manage to barely save this fort as they get their own heroics now. The Flailing Swipe, Blessed Shield, Angelic Armaments, the Hyperion again, and the Phoenix. Imperius trying to get on that Leo, but just barely misses him. And Raynor down here trying to get this turret. They don't want to lose the item game again. That was so heavily in CCS's favor and ultimately the deciding factor in how they managed to take over that aggressive fight. And there's the catch onto Leo, and he gets chunked down with that percent damage talent coming out of the Imperius. Pops the Angelic Armaments, looking for that additional damage. Potentially could get him. Oh my goodness. He's so close. 300 health. But Imperius backing away, seeing that the enemy team's coming. Maybe? Maybe he didn't see it. Maybe he just saw that globe coming. The root and the lightning orb going out, but unfortunately not going to get him. The Syndragosa goes out, will slow him down, and there he goes, and there goes the body of Iron Man onto the other side of the map. Or at least of the tower. Raynor trying to slow him down, but that Hyperion's not going to do enough. There's minions all over the place, and there's 4 of them. It's just not going to kill anybody. So they trade that bottom fort, which is going to be very, very challenging for them when they get to that 3rd control point, for the healing camp. And a little percentage on the point. So we've got 3 heroics on either side, Starfall and Tomb, and the globe, of course, being up, Tide of Sin. And the Phoenix, Flailing Swipe, Blessed Shield, now Angelic Armaments is back online. Level 13 just came up here for can't counterpick stupid, though. And they are ready to come in on this. Arthas coming in the aggressive way. Looking to get this Kael'thas, misses with the root, but is able to get him in the slow, but there's no fort here to retreat to. Raynor's in the bot lane, just trying to keep that cleaned up, get the XP soak, trying to catch up to the 13. And Arthas gonna go ahead and anchor for the team here in the middle, make sure they can't come up and sneak in. Not a lot that Johanna's gonna do against this Leoric, but pull them down. And now it's a 3v4 in the middle, but they step off the point and lose the percentage. So you got 1 turret and I believe a healing camp still, yep, on the Johanna. And you've got 1 turret for CCS. So slightly in favor of Periloot, as they are going to go ahead and come in on this. And Leoric looking for this big entomb. He's got multiple, oh my goodness, 3 of them, and he blocks out the Imperius as the Syndragosa goes out, slows them all. They're so low on health. The Starfall going in as well, but it's going to be Cassia that goes down first. The globe nearly killing Kael'thas, as the root catches him and tries to finish him off with the Q, but the Tyrande Lunar Flare does the job, and Raynor goes down to that Cassia, and oh, the globe catches Raynor, Stukov, I think, was at the end there, and they will manage to get that 2nd protector. This is very dangerous now for Periloot. You're down 2 levels, well, a little less than 2 levels. They're going in on this. The protector was buffed for structure damage, and this is going to do a lot. They're going to be able to, other than the fact that they missed the glove, but this is going to give them significant value in this top lane, getting the wall down, getting the tower down, and they are missing 2 people, so I don't expect they're going to push in on the keep. And they are going to go ahead and back away. That's about all they're going to get out of this value, but you know, maybe they'll get some damage down here in the mid lane, it looks like, because this wall is already down as well, and their whole team is now back up. So with a 16 advantage, the glove going out to lock down that tower. Most of the heroics are up for both teams, as the Phoenix does get popped. Arthas looking to get a root, does manage to get it on the Raynor and the Johanna. And they get that down to about half, but Imperius trying to dive in, manages to miss the ghost. And now Asmo with the big globe miss. But here comes Syndragosa slowing everybody down. The Flailing Swipe pushing everybody back. But Imperius tries to dive in, and he looks like he's going to pay for it with his life. Cassie only has 400 health, though, so she has to be careful as the globe hits all over the people. Look at this, 272 stacks. So he's doing all right. At this pace, I don't think he's going to get to 400 by the time he's level 20, though. So we'll have to see which way he goes as far as those talents. Johanna going in, trying to blind, but there are 4 people there. You're not going to do anything against them. They're just going to take this camp. And there's nothing you can do about it. And Tyranda's scouting this out, but they don't look like they're going to come up here. Just want to know what they're doing. Kael'thas coming down here, soaking this lane as you do. You got to keep this going. You got to get this XP soak so you can catch up in the 16. Get that ignite for Kael'thas. Get that, maybe the reduced cooldown, and that's a 13. Getting the armor bonus or reduced armor for the Imperius. And here comes CCS onto the Johanna. She pops her Iron Skin, but Imperius gets the wrong memo and dives right back in. The level 16 ignite going out, catching damage on that Leoric, and Cassia looks like she's going to go down, but the big globe manages to get onto the Johanna and the Imperius and manages to take Johanna out of the game. At least for 37 more seconds, as a 2-for-1 trade for Periloot, and they just barely dodge out of that Lunar Flare. They do have a camp going in that top lane, so now they're pushing in the mid lane, getting whatever damage they can here. And Raynor looks like he's going to go up and help this siege camp up top. I feel like this might be a little bit questionable, because now you're putting yourself on an island, and here comes the Leoric. He's going to try to catch him, but just not quite enough time on the spooky walk. He didn't take the Wraith Walk talents at 13 and 16, so if he had, probably would have been a dead Raynor there, but instead he went for that life drain setup. Gave it more late game scaling though. Yes, they did. So it scales up a little bit better over time. So overall, you know, the value is more in the siege potential, and I think it actually does even more siege than it did before. Imperius diving in on the Imperius, manages to catch him, brings him down very low, but the Phoenix as well. They will invade and get this heal camp, thanks to the good positioning and timing of that Celestial Charge coming out of Imperius. And the only ult that was used for that, because I don't really count Asmos, was the Starfall coming out from Tyrande. So they still have the Entomb, the Lightning Orb, and the Syndragosa, as Periloot will go ahead and get on this point. And you're one level away basically from level 20 for CCS. I don't think you can get the 20 while this is going on, so it's kind of a tough call. If you go in on this and you lose a keep. If you go in on this and you win the game. If you don't go in on this, you can get 20 and then it's a toss-up. You definitely lose your fort. You maybe lose the wall on your keep. I think that they're just gonna look for any advantage they can get out of this, and Kael'thas is now going back, so if they pay attention to this, as soon as he shows up top, they'll be able to go in on this point. And they're already backing away. They said, you know what, Kael'thas is back, we don't need to stay here any longer than we absolutely have to. And this has not worked out for them in the past. They have not been able to come in on a point successfully on any of these points so far. And here comes the team. Leoric managing to get the Entomb in on the Imperius, but it's not the level 20 version, so he does get charged right back into it. The blind going out onto a whole bunch as the Syndragosa comes in, and Johanna is going to go down. Imperius as well. He drops the turret, and Arthas picks that turret right up. And this is about the worst case scenario you could have if you're Periloot. You're gonna be up in time to at least defend the Punisher, but I don't think that's enough time for the team to actually get there to stop it. You can't very well go in with the 3, so you're just gonna have to defend that Punisher. And you have the good damage, right? You've got the Raynor damage, you've got the Kael'thas damage, and putting that Living Bomb on the Protector, you know, you will get there. But they ended up losing that top keep anyway. I think that the better call probably for them would have been to just stay on the point with Kael'thas, you know, get that last couple of percent, lock them out, guarantee the Protector. You lose the top keep, but you get the value in the bot lane, and, you know, if you get a kill or two, you end the game and win. Pre-20. But here they go. They're trying to get this XP, and here comes the Protector. Leo's going to go ahead and hop in that. Let's zoom out just a little bit here. And we do see here Leo and Arthas going into the Protector. So both tanks, all the siege damage they can get out of Cassia and Asmo. And there's that new version of the glove knocking back the Imperius. And Cassia just chunking down that Johanna. So here we go. This could be the last push of the game, as Periloot trying to get to level 20 as well, but they're just not going to be able to do it, as all this damage is coming out. The Protector's almost dead. There it goes. And Leoric coming out of it getting the benefit of a living bomb. And they do manage to just barely save this keep. Maybe 20% health on that keep. That will go down at some point. They can just easily rush down there and take it. And with their 20 advantage, they are coming up here. They want to get this heal camp before the enemy team has a chance to get their level 20s. But look at this. Hardened Bones out of Leoric, not buried alive. And there's the level 20 upgrade for Asmodan, as they do. Periloot does get this, but there's the Imperious into the Entomb, the Flailing Swipe trying to keep him alive. He does manage to dive out. Raynor and Johanna standing right next to each other. They're passing that orb for eternity. For some reason, it didn't hop over to Stukov. I don't know what's going on there, but whatever. What else did we get at level 20? We got the upgraded Angelic Armaments. We got the Flamethrower for the Kael'thas, so that's a huge value for them now. The upgraded Hyperion, I've been seeing a lot of that lately. The Storm Shield talent for Johanna, Blinded by the Light. Surprised they didn't take that Indestructible. She's died several times now. And then that upgraded heal for Stukov. And then, of course, for Arthas, we got the Anti-Magic Shell. We've got the Tyrande Iceblade Arrows, looking to slow things down and make the hero damage go down a bit. We already covered the rest of these, so we'll put those away for now. Alright, so you got Kael'thas and Raynor posting up, looking for a bush gank. No vision from the Tyrande. Well, okay. Maybe they felt that went over enough of their heads to see it. Didn't look like they got caught, but, you know, who am I? Johanna coming in, clearing those waves, grabbing those globes, helping that Kael'thas. He's got 48 stacks. And there's the big Entomb on 3. The root going out, the globe coming in on that Kael'thas, passing the lightning orb for days, as Cassia completely by herself in the backline there. The Angelic Armaments doesn't hit anybody with the swords, but now they are very split. And they're lucky that that doesn't come out. But here comes the Syndragosa slowing everybody down, and Kael'thas is in trouble as the globe obliterates him. Stukov trying the Flailing Swipe, drops the emitter maybe a little bit late. This could be the end, as Imperious now also goes down. They have a free walk-in right past the no longer existing keep as their bio-emitter goes down. Johanna now in trouble as well, trying to pull them back, get as much time for the Kael'thas to come back, and Imperious as well, but ultimately this is just going to be one big staggered death. Right? Where is she? Trying. And now Raynor and Stukov passing their pustule around, as we do see CCS now coming through the top lane, making their way slowly to the core. They have 2 turrets to help out, and they've got 15 seconds and 25 seconds until those heroes are back on the table here, as it looks like game number 3 is slowly going over in favor of Can't Counterpick Stupid. And it looks like they will complete the win. Periloot putting up a good show in game number 2, but couldn't quite bring it back to bear in game number 3, as we see CCS pulling it out, pulling that big victory, and getting another game with the winning team having 13 kills. I mean, I guess it was bad luck for one team. And gonna go ahead and plug in this headset, because otherwise I might die in the middle of the interview. Give me one moment, please. Alright then. Here's your talents and your stats, as we see if perhaps our West Coast team would like to hop into a lobby and have a chat. I might even still be in a lobby now that I think about it. Nope, I'm not. All right. See who we can get in from Can't Counterpick Stupid. If you have any questions for the team, I have no route. That's not good. Let's try this again. There we go. If you have any questions for the team, speak up now in chat so that I can make sure to pass that along. Okay, and I think...
Arrow is my hero.
Welcome. Is it just going to be you, or is anybody else coming?
I think Wits is coming.
There's Wits.
Hello.
Y'all said, there you go. I was going to say, can we hear you? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Are you
Welcome,
a Sprint
gentlemen.
spokesperson?
You know what? I'm not. I did have Sprint for a long time though. But I'm glad I don't.
Hear you now guy that now works for Sprint.
Yeah, the former Verizon. Yeah. So, congratulations on your win, guys.
Thank you.
So, I gotta say, like, your first game there looked absolutely just disgusting, obviously in favor of you. The second game looked a little bit disgusting in their favor. Like, they really played it well, and like going into game 3 looked just like it could be anybody's game. And you guys played well, so congratulations to you. Well done to Periloot. They really did a good job. But tell me about what this means for you guys now going into the finals for C West.
It's a big victory for us because we've botched so many seasons prior where we haven't made the playoffs for, you know, one map win or something like that. And so to really have focused this season and had a great time in NGS and been extremely fortunate, it's exciting to go into the West Finals.
Yeah, and with that also, and going into the West Finals, I think of the two teams on the other side, I think they both beat us. So either way, it's kind of, you know, we get to come in with hopefully some revenge.
Sure. So you guys in C West, you were the number 2 seed behind Rush B. The other seed on the other side, number 4, being Ginormous Jaegers. And so you said both of those teams had beat you, and I don't even know that they're on the schedule. So hopefully they'll get on the schedule and we'll be able to watch
Sunday.
that soon. Oh, Sunday?
Their
Okay.
game's not till Sunday. I saw that today.
Gotcha. So I got to ask you guys, I noticed Hanzo was banned out all 3 games. I'm assuming that's a target ban, that, you know, one of their people is just a god Hanzo or something?
That is Argyle. And if you watch Ziltoid's replay cast of their match last week, they go in and while watching his stream say, "Oh, letting our guy play Hanzo was a mistake by the other team."
Fair enough.
So,
you know what? It's the same thing that happened to B-Train, right? B-Train says, "Oh, they let me play Chen," and dude has not played Chen again.
Right. It happened to Tin on Phoenix. It happened to B-Train on Chen. It's happening to Argyle Booster on Hanzo. So, no.
So you're a big fan of the Arthas, huh?
I am, and they seem to really like banning a Nubarak. And, you know, he was a tier 9 raid. Arthas is tier 10. You got to know where your priorities lie. I am the better raid boss.
Fair enough. And Wits End, so you were playing that Rhaegar. You played the Rhaegar a couple times, then you played the Tyrande there at the end. So we don't see, at least not in West, and I haven't seen it much in D, we don't see a lot of Rhaegar. So what is it about the Rhaegar that appeals to you?
He's the best support on the game. I don't know. He's pretty good. He offers a lot of utility. He's got cleanse. He's got wave clear. He can add some damage in the Immortal race. It didn't really end up in our favor on that one. They had a ton of poke. But I just think he's an overall pretty solid all-around healer. Maybe not the best in anything, but except for wave clearing as far as healers go. But otherwise, I just think he's a pretty solid healer.
Sure. And were you guys at all concerned when they picked up that Zeratul in game 1 when you have the Lunara and Gul'dan in that back line? Like, did that even cross your mind, or were you just like, nah, whatever?
We were looking at it from the Void Prison and APOC combo, like, okay, we can't get caught in this or we will die. And so we were constantly saying, spread out, weird angles, whatever you want to call it, just so that we wouldn't get caught in a multiple combo. Then we decided to ignore that in game 2 and be like, Imperius's spear can't possibly hit all 5 of us at the same time. We were wrong.
Yeah, and if you go back and watch the VOD later, you'll find that I called out that Imperius was absolutely just destructive to you guys in game number 2, and a fair bit in game number 3. But they just couldn't quite get everything to line up as well in game number 3 against you guys.
Yeah, hopefully we learned a little bit.
So next week, your finals match against Ginormous Jaegers or Rush B. What you guys?
That'd be scary. Are they allowed to combine forces against us?
You know what? Maybe. Swaps. I don't think that's. You know what? I can't say that. As a mod, I officially have to say no. No, they can't. That is the rule. No swaps. But so what are you guys looking forward to? Do you have a preference on which team you want to play against next week? Who do you think is more likely that you're going to be playing against next week?
What do you think? You have an answer for that one?
Sorry, my wife came in and was asking me about my son's field trip tomorrow.
I don't think it matters to us. I think they're both good teams. They're both really good teams. We certainly had one that we had a way worse showing versus than the other. I wouldn't mind seeing them again just because, we got embarrassed the first time. But otherwise, I don't know that there's really, they're both good teams.
Sure. And are you guys following the East games at all? Are you keeping an eye on who's rising to the top over on the other side of the country?
So I know Almost Legends beat UARC today.
That is not correct. The Found Vikings.
The Found Vikings.
Oh, the Found Vikings, sorry. And then Almost Legends and Delicate Regen Red play this week, I believe.
That is correct. We play tomorrow.
And we will be watching with great interest into the development of your career there, sir.
So, with the Found Vikings, that means now that the top 3 teams in the East are all that remains. Have you guys checked out? Is there anybody from the 3 that you are more interested in playing against, or least interested, or less interested, I guess?
Well, hopefully this doesn't sound like
whichever team plays the earliest.
Yeah, that's true. We struggle with that from the East, but I think it would be kind of fun to play Regen Red. We've played Found Vikings before in Heroes Lounge, and Contender, you're never going to play Alarak again. But I don't know enough about the final team at this point, and I said
Almost
their name
Legends.
a second ago. Almost Legends. Oh, but it would be kind of fun to play Born to Shine. So I want whoever wins out of your team to beat the Found Vikings. So your matchup between Almost Legends and Regen Red, I want one of those two.
Well, fair enough. And if you read DeWitt's evaluation of East, that was his evaluation, was that whichever team won from our match tomorrow is going to be the one that ultimately goes all the way to the finals. So you may very well get that wish.
Yeah. Well, and you guys played Found Vikings fairly early, if I recall.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you really turned up the heat since. So I think there's a great match brewing, and I look forward to watching it. So I'll be there in whoever's stream.
Sure. But this isn't about us. This is about you guys. I just wanted to know what your perspectives were on who you're looking out for, what you're watching for. So after tonight's plays, who I'm going to throw you guys on the spot. Who would you call the MVP of your team tonight?
Misha. She died for us in game 1 and let us all win.
She had some absolutely amazing plays. That is true.
I strongly thought about ancestraling her to keep her alive on that last one.
That's fair.
But I thought I'd get flamed for that, so.
It's tough to say. I think for me as a tank player, like, none of it would happen without a support, man. And so Wits is our support. He has helped us through, not trying to take away anybody's contributions, but it's hard to tank if you can't get healed. So healer MVP.
That's fair. Well, gentlemen, I don't have any other specific questions for you, so I'm going to go ahead and give you the floor for any shout-outs or any comments that you have for your recently defeated opponents at Periloot or your upcoming match against either Ginormous Jaegers or Rush B. Floor is yours.
Hi, Mom! That's the most important part.
Of course. Shouting out Val's mom.
Yeah. Thanks to Periloot. Great matchup. Both times we've played them, it's gone both ways. They're a great squad. We happen to come out with the victory. We're super fortunate, but they are fantastic. All the respect in the world for them. Thanks to NGS for putting everything together and for putting up with me as the heel of Division C. So you guys are great. We love being here. And while we may try to be a little bit obnoxious in chat, we really do appreciate everybody and what they do.
Wits, anything from you?
If you're waiting for me, I don't have anything. We'll go with that.
Okay, fair enough. I actually had just said anything from you, but as I said it, my voice like disconnected from Discord, so apparently I just don't want to talk to you is what Discord's telling me.
No worries. I'm just here to keep Valk in line.
Good deal. Well, do me a favor, guys, and make sure that you get the game match reported as soon as possible so that we can get that updated in the standings. But well done tonight, and good luck in your game next week.
All right,
thank you so much.
Thanks for this treat.
Yeah, absolutely, guys.
Good night.
Alrighty, so let's flip over here to the bracket just to see where this is going. So now, Can't Counterpick Stupid overcoming Periloot 2-0 gives us the finals for C West, and they'll face off next week against Rush B, the number 1 seed, or Ginormous Jaegers, the number 4 seed. Ginormous Jaegers, I have to say, looked absolutely crazy against Plugwalk the other day, but Rush B has been a solid team throughout this whole season. So that match is going to be absolutely wonderful to see. I would highly recommend you catch it. If you haven't been paying attention to the ticker at the bottom of your screen, maybe come back and check it out, as there will be a few games here coming in tomorrow. There's some later in the week. As Valk mentioned there, you've got Sunday is 7 p.m. Ginormous Jaegers versus Rush B, 7 p.m. Eastern time. And if you are a caster looking for something cast, there are 2 games tomorrow, I guess later today. 8:15 p.m. is Regen Red versus Almost Legends. That's the game that we were just talking about, C East. And Save the Murloc versus Full Meta Jacket is at 9:30, and that is, I believe, D West, maybe? D East? D East. That's D East. So if you are a caster and looking for something to do tomorrow, check one of those matches out. But for now, 2-1 in favor of Can't Counterpick Stupid as they advance on to the finals for C West. And that's going to be it for us tonight, guys. It's been a pleasure casting for you tonight. Did I say 2-0? I thought I said 2-1. Or maybe we're talking about a different map. I don't know. Maybe there's a 2-1 in there somewhere, but yes, it was 2-1. Can't Counterpick Stupid over Periloot. If I said 2-0, my apologies. But it was 2-1. Oh, you know what? Sorry. There we go. I fixed it. The bracket screen, I had to manually put it in and just put win and it carried over. So updated. Here, you know what? Let me go back to that screen for you just so you can see it. Because that's important. Representation. There you go. See? 2-1. Got it. Nailed it. It happened. All right, ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful evening. Good night, and congratulations to Can't Counterpick Stupid, Periloot. You guys did well. Toasty, just don't listen too much to what I had to say about your Asmodan play. It's a tough here to play. It's just too late game of a comp for you guys in that game one, but it's all good. Good luck next week in the finals, and I will see you all soon. TM.